Okay. So we had discussed a priori algorithm yesterday, worked out an example, gave 3 years homework, and hardly 40% of the classes attended the assignment. I have put the list of those who have not attended the assignment. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. So this unit, I said, it's all about frequent pattern mining. And there are two categories to be considered. One is frequent pattern mining with candidate generation. That is what we had discussed in the previous class, where we spoke about a priori algorithm. Okay, so that was frequent pattern mining with candidate generation. Okay, so it has its own set of advantages and disadvantages. So then now today's class we look into the next technique. So that is mining frequent pattern without candidate generation. Okay, so for that we have an algorithm called FP growth. So please make a note of it. Okay, so FP growth. Okay, so this is a slide which tells you regarding the bottlenecks associated with the a priori algorithm. Okay, so when you say association rule mining, so you know it is a two-step process. What are the two steps involved in association rule mining? First step is you need to find all the frequent item sets, either by using a priori algorithm or by using FP growth method. So that is the first step. You need to find out all the frequent item sets. Okay. The second step is you need to generate strong association rules from the frequent item set. Okay, then we had worked out an example also. Okay, so I mean all of you are aware that the rules should satisfy the minimum support and minimum confidence criteria. Okay, so that's the second step. Okay, so that's what is your association rule mining, finding the frequent item sets using one of the methods, a priori or FP growth, and then deciding whether the, I mean, you're trying to generate association rules, and then see which is a strong rule, which is a weak rule, then what of the weak rules based on their support and confidence criteria. Okay, so then when we looked into the a priori algorithm, you would have noticed that there are two drawbacks. In fact, I had discussed in one of the slide also two drawbacks associated with your a priori algorithm. What were the two drawbacks? The first is for a priori algorithm, at each and every step, the candidate sets will have to be built. Okay, so to build that candidate set, the algorithm which will have to repeatedly scan the database. Okay, so to overcome that bottleneck, we saw some techniques also like partitioning technique or dynamic counting and a hashing technique. All these was discussed, but then generally a priori algorithm is considered to be very slow because of this, that is scanning the repeated scanning of the database. Okay, so in order to overcome these redundant steps, we have this new revised algorithm. It can also be called as the revised a priori algorithm. So it is called this FP growth algorithm. FP growth algorithm. Okay, so because in a priori I said generating all these candidate tasks, I mean candidate items, that is a very complex task or a tedious task. Okay, so and in many a times many of them are not even frequent. It was not at all necessary to generate them. Okay, so in this particular algorithm what we are going to see today, that is FP growth algorithm, you generate the item sets that are frequent only. Okay, so and you store all the transactions in a little more easier to use data structure called what is called a tree data structure. Okay, so this particular algorithm, that is FP growth, is all about mining the frequent item sets without candidate generation. Okay, without candidate generation, by making use of what is called a tree data structure. Okay, so let's see what it is. Okay, so yeah, as mentioned here, it's for discovering the frequent item set in a transaction database without any generation of candidates. Okay, so there are two steps involved in this. The first step is what is called your FP tree construction. FP tree construction. And the second one is what is called your conditional database construction. Okay, so these are the two steps involved in this FP growth. Okay, so first you, compress or represent your database, or you represent the frequent items into what is called an FP tree. Okay, so which will retain the association information, that is item set association information. After that, you divide that compressed database into what is called a conditional database. Okay, conditional database, you can say some sort of projected database. Okay, so each associated with one frequent item or one fragment of it. And then you mine all those databases separately. Okay, so that's what you are basically going to do. Okay, so this is how FP tree will look like, a frequent pattern tree. I'll show you how it is going to be constructed. Okay, so I said this FP growth will represent the frequent items in a frequent pattern tree structure, tree-like structure. This is the tree-like structure. Okay, so the basic purpose of this tree is to mine the most frequent patterns. Okay, so each node, you can see here you have the root node. This is the root node. So the root node represents null. Okay, root node represents null. But then the other lower nodes, the other nodes represents the items whatever is present in the transaction database. Or in other words, each node of the FP tree represents an item of the item set. Okay, so how do we go about constructing this? We will discuss with the help of an example now. Okay, so these are the steps involved in the algorithm. So now if I start discussing the steps, it may not make much sense to you. So rather than that, just like the a priori algorithm, we'll go in the same manner. First, I will discuss a example problem. After working out the problem, we'll come back to this algorithmic steps involved in the construction of this FP tree pattern algorithm, and then see how it is. Okay, so now we'll start with the problem. So I want all of you to note down this example. Please make a note of this transaction database. How many students have joined? 38. Okay, so only 38 interested students in the class. Fine, I'll be making a note of these students. Okay, so please make a note of this. So you have 9 transactions. 9 transactions represented by T100, T200. That's how it is being represented. So 9 transactions are there. Have you made a note? Okay, so the minimum support is given. Minimum support is 2. Min sup is 2. Okay, the first transaction having 3 items, second one 2, third one 2. Accordingly, 9 transactions are there, and the minimum support count is 2. Okay, so the first step what you do is, you need to find the support count for each item. Okay, so that you are aware. Do it quickly. What is the support count for each item? How do you find the support count for each item? For example, if it is I1, how many transactions are consisting of I1? How many transactions are consisting of I1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 transactions. So I1 will be 6. So similarly, quickly prepare. Are you all doing it? At least in the chat window, put a yes or a no. Yes or no? Why no one is responding? Aravind, doing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Doing.
Okay. Yeah. Please put it in the chat window. At least let me know that people are not sleeping. Okay, so you will get something like this. You will get this table. Okay, so first step is this minimum support count. Okay, fine. Thank you. Whoever is responding. Okay, so the next step, what you're supposed to do is all these support counts you need to write in the descending order of your support. In the sense, descending order means first I2 will come, followed by I1 or I3, because both of them have the same support count, followed by I4 or I5. Okay, so write it in the descending order of your support count. Have you wrote it in the descending order of the support count? So that's what the next step is all about. Okay, so after that, Next, you need to start with the FP tree construction. Okay, next you need to start with the FP tree construction by taking null as the root node. Okay, so I'll show that in a Word document. Okay, so this is a transaction database you have. You have the support count. You have arranged them in the descending order of the support count. So based on that, we get this. So let's take the first transaction. Okay, so you first start with the root node. Root node would be put as null. Okay, I'm going to construct my FP tree. I'm going to construct my FP tree. So root is null. Okay, so now take the first transaction. What is the first transaction? T100. Okay, so how many items do you have here? I have I1, I2 and I5. Okay, so now arrange them in the descending order of their support count. Okay, so which is the item having the maximum support count? You have I2 first. I2, then followed by I1, then followed by I5. Because I1 is having, sorry, I2 is having 7, I1 is having 6, and the other one, I5 is having 2. Okay, so now from the root node, you add I2 to the left, okay, and give the count as 1. Okay, so then from I2, now you need to consider the next one, that is I1. You need to link I1 and then you give an initial count of 1. Okay, next is I5. Okay, so next okay, right. So now consider the next transaction. Now all the three items are linked. So next transaction is 200, T200. Okay, so T200 you have I2 and I4. Okay, I2 and I4, it is in the same order, descending order itself. I2 is having 7 and I4 is having 2. So no need to change the order. Okay, so in FP tree, always start from the root node. Okay, so you check whether there is any I2 is there from the root. Is there any I2 from the root? Yes, we do have one I2 from the root. Okay, so in that case, you increase the count of I2 by 2. Okay, are you all following? Okay, so that second transaction, I'll first work out an example, then I'll make you do one, so then it will be more thorough regarding what basically happens, and then I'll explain the algorithm once again. Okay, so second transaction, I start with I2. So I'll check whether any I2 is there from the root. Of course we have, so I increase the count by 2. Okay, so next is I need to, next one is I4. So is there any linking of I4 from I2? No. Okay, so in such case, I generate a link or I add a link I4 and put it as 1. Okay, so now coming to the next transaction, we have finished I2 and I4. Okay, so next transaction T3. T3 is having I2 and I3. Okay, so now there is already I2 is there from the root node. So I make this as 3. Okay, I make this as 3. Okay, so then the next is I3. So there is no I3 from I2. Okay, there is no I3 from I2. So I create 1. Okay, so I3 and 1. Okay, fine. So next is T4. Okay, so next is T4, transaction T4. So T4 is I1, I2 and I4. So they are not in the descending order of their support count. So I'm putting it in order. When I put it in order, how does it come? It will be I2 first, followed by I1 and then I4. Okay, so now you start with I2. I2 is already there from the root node. So now I increase the count of I2 to 4. So this becomes 4 now. Okay, then I1. Do I have an I1? Yes, there is a linking of I1 from I2. So I increase the count of I1 to 2. Okay, then what is the last one? I4. Okay, so there is no I4 from I2. So I need to create one. So I need to create one as a right. Okay, so I create one I4, put it here. Okay, so then coming to the next transaction, we are done with the fourth transaction. Now coming to the fifth transaction. So fifth transaction is having two items, I1 and I3. Okay, so I1 and I3 both are in the same order. Okay, so let me come to I1. Okay, so from root, I need to generate a separate I1. There is no linking of I1 from the root. So as the right hand side, I create I1. Okay, so then from I1, I need to generate a I3. Okay, I1 and I3. Okay, so from this, I generate I3 as 1. Okay, so now I'm done with my fifth transaction, T500. Okay, so next I start with my sixth transaction, that is T600, which has two items, I2 and I3. Okay, so I2 and I3, there is no change in the order. It's already in the descending order. So from the root node, I2 is already there. So I make the count from 4 to 5. Okay, so now my count has become 5. Okay, then I3. There is I3 already from I2. So I just increment the count as 2. Okay, so I made this as 2. So this is my current tree. Okay, so now I'm done with my sixth transaction. So moving on to the next transaction, T700. Okay, so T700. Hope people are listening. Lavanya, listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so moving on to the next transaction, T700. Okay, so moving on to the next transaction, we have two items, I1 and I3. Okay, so I1, I already have an I1 from the root. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah, fine, fine. Put it in the chat window. Thank you for responding. Okay, so I increment my I1 to 2. Okay, then the next is I3. There is the linking from I1 to I3. So this also I increment to 2. That is my seventh transaction. Now coming to the eighth transaction, T8 is having I1, I2, I3, and I5. Okay, so when I put it in the order, it becomes I2, then I1. I should arrange it in the descending order of the support count. Okay, I2, I1, I3, and I5. Okay, so yeah, I2 now becomes, there is already a linking from the null, from the root, I2 becomes 6. Then from I2 is there I3. Yeah, the, yeah, it's already there. I3, sorry, just a second. Okay, this becomes 6. Okay, so I2 becomes 6. So from I2, is there an I3? There's no I3. So I generate I3 from I2. Same way, you generate I5. That is 1 from I3. Okay, so finally, you go to the last transaction. So my figure has become very cluttered. So I have this figure out here. You can look at here. Okay, so the last one. The last one is, I think, T900. T900, it is I1, I2, and I3. So when you order it, it becomes I2, I1, and I3. So from the root node, I2 is already there. So 6, this becomes 7. This becomes 7, and simultaneously, the other changes are also being made. I1 becomes 4 and I3 becomes 2. So finally, you will get this, this tree with these values. Okay, so these are the values which you will get at the end of the end of scanning all the transactions. Okay, so starting from T100 to T900. Okay, so few I have shown here. Since the figure is getting cluttered, the last two steps have not mentioned there. So you will get like this. Okay, so this is the tree. So finally you can see here I2 becomes 7 here. So up to 6, I think we have worked out here. In the next round, it becomes 7. Okay, so this is a tree what you will get. Okay, so now you can verify. Now you can verify from the FP tree. Okay, now we can verify from the FP tree. Maybe I'll pull this figure up. Just a second. Okay. Okay, so for example, it's mentioned here I1 is 2. Yeah, you can see here. Yeah, I1 is 2 and I1 is 4. Okay, so 4 plus 2. 4 plus 2 becomes 6. So that's what is mentioned here. You have 2 here, you have 4 here. Okay, so 4 plus 2 it becomes 6. Okay, so that means there are 6 transactions where I1 is present. Similarly, I2. I2 is 7 is straight away mentioned here. That's what here. Okay, same way you can see here. I3. I3 is 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. 2 plus 2 it becomes 6. So same way I4 is 1 here and 1 here, totally 2 transactions. Okay, where I2 is I4 is present, and I5 is 1 here and 1 here, it becomes 2. Okay, so that's how you can verify your transactions. Okay, so now the construction of the FP tree is over. Okay, that's the first step. Okay, the first step involved is construction of FP tree. Okay, so this is what we have done now. So next is we need the construction of the conditional database. Okay, so next is the construction of conditional database. Okay, so I have the conditional database out here. I'll show that and I'll explain. That will be better than drawing it in bits and pieces. Okay, so how we yeah, so this is what is called here conditional database. Okay, so how you start. Okay, so this is basically a table, a table in the something like a relational table. Okay, with rows and columns, you have all these fields where you will write the item, the conditional pattern base, the conditional FP tree, and the frequent patterns generated. Okay, so how you start is you start with the item with the least support count. Which is the item with the least support count here? Which is the item with the least support count here?
I5.
Both I5 and I4 both have the support count as 2. Okay, so you can randomly start with anything. So as per the illustration out here, I have taken, I'm randomly taking 5, I5. Okay, so I have taken I5 initially. Okay, so you check in your FP tree where exactly is I5. Or how you are traversing from the root to I5. Okay, so where is I5 here? Just a second. Okay, so where is I5 here? You can see here. This is I5. Then this is also I5. Okay, so what is the one way to reach our I5? How you are traversing from the root to the I5? So one is I2, I1, and then you reach your I5. Okay, this is one way, this way. I2, I1, and you reach your I5. Okay, so which is the other way? Which is the other way? The other way is you start from the root. I mean, I don't mention that. So I2, then I1, I go to I1, then I go to I3, and I reach my I5. Okay, so these are the two ways in which I can traverse from the root to the I5. Okay, so That's what, okay. And I5, the count is mentioned near to it as 1. Okay, so that's what I write in my conditional pattern base. So you can see here the conditional pattern base. So these are the two ways in which how you reach your I5. Okay, so that is one is, maybe I'll pull this figure down. Okay, so you can see here. So I2, I1, and the count as 1. And the second way is I2, I1, and I5. Okay, so that's what. Okay, so what this mean is the count of each is 1. Okay, that is I2 is 1, I1 is 1, and again I2 is 1 and I1 is 1. And again out here I3 is also 1. Okay, so I2, if you can see how many I2s are there, 2 are there. So 1 plus 1 totally becomes 2. I2 is 2. Same way I1, how many I1s are there, 1 here and 1 here, so that is also 2. Then what about our I3? I3 is only 1. I3 is only 1, but then it is not satisfying our minimum support. What is our minimum support mentioned in the problem? What is the minimum support mentioned in the problem? Minimum support mentioned in the problem is 2. Okay, minimum support mentioned in the problem is 2. So this will not satisfy the constraint. So I3 is not frequent. Okay, so this is not frequent. Okay, so that's the reason why my conditional FP tree is having only these two. Okay, so now, okay, the conditional FP tree is having only these two. So now what you do is you join this, your conditional FP tree with the source item. What is your source item? I5. Okay, so that's how you get the frequent patterns generated, the last column. Okay, so it is I2 comma I2 comma I5, that is one set with a count of 2. And then second one is I1 comma I5 with a count of 2. Third one is I2 comma I1 comma I5. Okay, so these are the frequent patterns that are generated from this conditional FP tree. Okay, so what you're basically doing is join it with the source item and make the frequent patterns generated. Okay, so and all have the same support count. So in case anything is varying, one is having a support count of 4 and another one is having a support count of 2, you will always consider the minimum support count. So 2 will be taken. So anyway, that case doesn't arise here because everything is having the same support counts. Same support count. So it becomes 2 itself. Okay, so this is a frequent pattern generated. Okay, so we are done with the item number 5. I5 is done with. Okay, so what is the next item with the minimum support count? We are done with this. We completed I5. I5 is done with. Next, take I4. Okay, next you take I4. Okay, that's the next one which is being considered. I4. Okay, so I4. Can you write I4 on your own? How do you reach I4? Okay, so I4 is, you can see, one is from I2. That's what is mentioned here with the count 1. That's one way. I4 is here. Where is the next I4? Next I4 is here. So what is the next I4? That is I2, I1. So that is I2, I1, then you reach I4. That's what is mentioned here. I2, I1, then I2. Okay, so same way out here, I2, the count when it comes to the conditional FP tree, it becomes 2, whereas I1, I1 is not frequented, so we remove it. Okay, so we remove it. Then you join it with the source item, join the conditional FP tree with the source item, and then the frequent patterns get generated. Okay, so that's how you complete your I4. Okay, so the next, what is the next item? Next one with the next support count is I3. It can either be I3 or it can be I1. So let me take I3. Okay, so I'm taking I3 as the next one. This is the first one considered, second one, this is the third one considered. So I take I3 next. When I take I3, what happens? Where and all can I see I3? I can see an I3 here on the left hand side of my tree as well as on the right hand side of my tree. Okay, so left hand side and right hand side, both you have I3. Okay, so what do we do now? We have I3 on both left hand side and right hand side. So how do we reach there? So you can see this is the one on the right hand side. You can see I3, that is I1. This is the one on the right hand side. Then on the left hand side, to reach I3, yeah, I2, you can reach I3. Anywhere else I3 is there. Here also it is there. That is I2, I1, I3. In 3 different places it's there. 2 on the left hand side and 1 on the right hand side. Okay, so you can see here the one on the right hand side. Yeah, so you can see the conditional pattern base here. Okay, so conditional pattern base, when it comes to the left hand side, I said you have 2 I3s with the support count of 2 each, 1 here and 1 here. So it becomes 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2, it becomes 4 here. Okay, whereas the other one, I1 will only be 2. Why? Because it is one is on the left hand side and one is on the right hand side. Okay, it's available both on the left hand side and right hand side. So only I1 received from left, one I1 is received from the left subtree and another I1 is received from the right subtree. So you put I1, the support count as 2 itself, whereas this becomes 4 because you have 2 on the left hand side. Okay, then simultaneously you join with the source item and you generate your frequent patterns. Okay, so next what do we do? So next is I1 is also, your I3 is over. So next you generate, next will be I1. Okay, I3 is over, next is I1. Okay, so next is I1. What about I1? Where and all do you have I1? You have 1 here. Then you have I1 here also. Okay, here also. Okay, so there's nothing in between. So that's the reason why it is not seen. Nothing is being seen here. So yeah, here you write I2. Only the left hand side is being mentioned. Okay, so when it comes to the right hand side, there's nothing between, no nodes in between. So this is not seen. Okay, so in FP growth, we have generated only those sets which are satisfying the constraint. Okay, so that's how you go ahead generating all your frequent patterns. Okay, I don't know how many of you have understood. Okay, so I mean, it's video recorded, so you can go through it, and plus I'll make you do one more problem right now. Okay, so with the understanding what you have as of now, okay, so I'll make you do one more problem. Okay, so it's all about constructing the FP tree. FP tree by rearranging, by first initially constructing a support count, then arranging the support count in the descending order, then go ahead with the construction of FP tree on an item by item basis. And then based on that, you construct your conditional pattern base. And then finally, you are able to generate your frequent patterns. Okay, so that's what your FP tree algorithm is all about. Okay, so now I'll give you another problem. Okay, so please note down this. Meanwhile, let me take attendance. After taking the attendance, we'll come back to this problem. Okay, have you made a note of this? You
Yes,
have,
ma'am.
6 transactions. 6 transactions. Maybe somebody can take a pic and put in your WhatsApp group. So I'm going to take the attendance. Anirudh is present.
Present, ma'am.
Dharani,
Present, ma'am.
Ramharini,
Present, ma'am.
Kalyan Sundar,
Present, ma'am.
Aravind,
Present.
Sharan Varghese,
Present, ma'am.
Shakti Priya,
Present, ma'am.
Nishok. Nishok is absent.
Present, ma'am.
Present. Okay, Nishok. Shreya,
Present, ma'am.
Likita,
Present, ma'am.
Suveda,
Present, ma'am.
Vishal Bhashyam,
Present, ma'am.
Srimati,
Present, ma'am.
Kamini Nityashri,
Yes, ma'am.
Pranav is an OD, Srimati yes,
Present, ma'am.
Raja Singh, Raja Singh is absent, Pooja,
Yes, ma'am.
Lavanya,
Present, ma'am.
Nityashri,
Present, ma'am.
Sriram,
Present, ma'am.
Satyamohan,
Present, ma'am.
Sharan,
Present, ma'am.
Aviral Patel, 67 is absent. Okay, Hemavartini,
Present, ma'am.
Ajay,
Present, ma'am.
Akshata Saha, Akshata Saha is also absent. Kartik Balaji,
Present, ma'am.
okay, Santosh Kumar,
Yes, ma'am.
Anand Arun,
Present, ma'am.
Rahul,
Present, ma'am.
Suhasini Srikanth,
Present, ma'am.
Apurva Ravichandran, Apurva is absent. Mithun,
Present, ma'am.
Adityan,
Present, ma'am.
Selva Niklesh, Rajrap is absent. Okay, Ram Sharan,
Present, ma'am.
Achinta Murari,
Present, ma'am.
Santosh,
Present, ma'am.
Pavitra Shri,
Yes, ma'am.
Praveen,
Present, ma'am.
Rakesh, Rakesh is absent. Okay, now coming to C section. C section Nityashri Narasimhan,
Present, ma'am.
Nishok,
Present, ma'am.
Abel,
Present, ma'am.
Kritika is absent. Kevin Kurian,
Present, ma'am.
Hiten,
Present, ma'am.
Adya,
Present, ma'am.
Jevora,
Yes, ma'am.
Kishore,
Present, ma'am.
Sridevi, no response. Yash Rai, no response. Jayesh Kumar,
Present, ma'am.
okay, Jayesh is present. Okay, anybody who is present and not given attendance?
Ma'am, Yasha is given in chat box.
Yes, okay. I wasn't following that. Anybody else is given in chat window? That's it, right? Fine. Okay. Have you all started working out this problem? So what's the first step? What is the first step? Kevin, what's the first step? Kevin,
Yes, ma'am.
what is the first step for this problem for FP growth? First, you need to find the support count for each item, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Please do it and tell me how much it is. I know it's very difficult to work out a problem in the fifth hour. Done? Getting this? What is the next step? What is the next step?
Arrange this in descending order.
Very good. Arrange it in the descending order. After that, try constructing the FP tree. Try constructing the FP tree for this. You start with the taking the null as a root node. Start with null as a root node. Then start taking the first transaction. Okay, I'll put both in the same slide for you to see it. Let's see who will construct the FP tree first. Okay, now you have the reference here. Take the first transaction, T1, see what are the list of items, and then arrange the items in the descending order of their support count and start linking them to the root. After that, take the next transaction. See whether the items are ordered according to their support count. Start from the root. Hope people are doing it. After 2 minutes, I'll show you the tree. Just see whether your tree is the same. Okay, the steps are also mentioned here. You can look at the steps and follow it. So at least based on this, you construct the FP tree. Let me see who will construct the FP tree first. Do you want me to show this or the previous one so that you can look at the transactions and construct it? Praveen is doing.
Yes, ma'am.
If anybody has completed, put one completed message in the chat window. Somebody has completed. Nityashri has completed. Very good. Only one person has completed. Srimati, very good. 2 people have completed. Only girls are smart in this class. Huh? What about boys? Anirudh doing, ma'am. Ah, okay, Anirudh. Boys are feeling sleepy. I understood. The explanation for the FP tree is here. Those who have doubts can refer this. But then the diagrammatic representation. Nityashri, can you just share your screen and explain? Can you?
Ma'am, I've done it in my notebook.
Will you be able to share it on the screen? Notebook doesn't matter.
I'll take a picture and share.
Yeah, sure, please. So I'm stopping the presentation. Voice, who else? Shriram?
I'm still
I have a
doing.
small doubt.
Hmm.
Ma'am, in this FP tree, suppose, say for example, if the database is large, then how will the algorithm work? Like in the case of shared memory and all those things, how will this?
Yeah, this is little bit expensive. The technique is little bit expensive. It will work. That is there. That is like it. Many a times, if the database is very huge, FP tree may not be able to fit in the memory. That is one disadvantage of it because it is little bit expensive to build the algorithm. But the main advantage is when compared to your a priori, your FP tree algorithm is fast because you need just 2 passes over the database. But then again, it depends on the size, whether you're able to fit it in
Ma'am,
memory
so
and other
what you
things.
try to tell is that the pairing of items is not done in this algorithm, so it's faster.
Yes, it is faster. But then memory wise, you see, if it is a huge database with a lot of transaction and other things, FP tree may not be able to fit in the memory. And again, cost wise, it can be costly too, to build the algorithm that is there. But then these are the two popular techniques. Compared to a priori, FP tree algorithm is considered to be faster because the candidate generation is not needed here. We look into only the frequent item sets. Nityashree has taken a picture.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you share the screen? Or if people
Can
are
you see, ma'am?
comfortable. Yeah, I think I can see that you're presenting.
I2 is supposed to be 5, ma'am. I just realized that. That's
Okay. Right. Okay. Fine, no issues. Can you just tell just about it, how it is?
Yes, ma'am. In the first transaction, it's supposed to be arranged as T2, T1, T3. So introduce a I1, I2, I3. So introduce I1 and then I2, I3, set the value as 1, 1, and 1. And then in the second transaction, it's supposed to be arranged as I2, I3, I4. So increment I2 and then add an I3 node and set that as 1. And then add I4 attached to I3 and then set that as 1. In the third transaction, it's I4, I5. So introduce an I4 node from null, set that as 1, and then I5 from I4. Same for T4, T5, and T6, ma'am.
Okay, so the diagram, very good, Nityashree. The diagram what is projected is correct, except what she says is I2 should be 5. Then below the null, the first to the left, I2 should have a count of 5. I think you missed out that alone. Okay, otherwise this is correct. Okay, very good.
Can I stop,
Okay,
ma'am?
Yeah, you can stop. Then can you start preparing the conditional database for this? Others? Conditional database for this particular problem. Try doing that. So I'll ask in tomorrow's class. Plus that time I will explain the algorithmic part also. And today I have just explained with an example. Tomorrow I will explain the steps of the algorithm, plus complete this problem and prepare the conditional database for this. Conditional database. Okay? Will you do that and come? I don't get a yes, I don't get a no response.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the recording will be in 83. Kumar's